Hello, my name is Tova.
And my name is Mathias.
And we live at Talasbuan Fäbod or Talasbuan Homestead.
Since we started making these videos, we have gotten a lot of questions. So in this video we are going to try to answer some of them. The most frequently asked. We live in Jämtland, Sweden, and this place is where we live, and this cabin is where we hide from the rain and keep warm in winter.
It's about 15 square meters, so it isn't a big cabin, but it has suited us well so far.
This whole place is off the grid, so there is no electricity from the grid or water from any grid or
Plumbing or anything.
no, it's completely resilient. No attachment to any grid.
Summertime we can drive all the way to the cabin. Wintertime, if it's not so much snow, yes. But in springtime we can't because the mud makes it impossible.
So there is kind of a road to this place.
So, but often wintertime we have to walk.
Since we don't have any means of plowing the road yet.
It's a typical Jämtland autumn day today. Grey and rainy.
So one of the questions we get asked the most is, how do you charge your things? So we lived here a couple of years without any electricity. We didn't have anywhere to charge our phones, and this was before we even got any phones that require more electricity. But then we got pigs. And it's easier to keep them penned up and move pens, build pens for them with electricity. So we got this solar panel. This is a 35 watt solar panel and a battery. This is the only thing that generates electricity on our place right now. So we can come out here and charge our equipment here. It's not so good when it's raining though. Some relatives to Tova gave us these solar panels. So these are 50 watt each, some old ones and different brands, and we also got a regulator, but there is some fuse that is missing, and I haven't had the time to look into it, so I need to maybe this winter spend time to learn how all these things work, and hopefully in the spring we will get this working. The only thing that is missing is then a battery bank, and that is really expensive. Inside our cabin we have this battery that is not charged by anything, and we can use it with this kind of tool, two clips, plus and plus and minus, and then we get this 12 volt car cigarette lighter thingy that we can charge our stuff with. So now I got USB charging. So we can charge our gadgets inside. Whoop. Like this. Now it's charging, and I have all kinds of USB charging devices for the camera batteries and everything. So I can charge cameras via this thing, and the GoPro batteries, same thing. Charging. Oh, that was charged. The only problem is that we have some gadgets that can't be charged via 12 volt. So this computer we need a real plug for. So we have this Ivar. So we have this inverter that is 12 volt to 230 volt, I guess. This is something that I am very new to, so I don't really understand all these things. But when we connect this with these to the battery, we can charge our computers as well. The only problem is that this costs a lot of electricity, so the battery runs out faster if we use this one. So where do we charge this battery? Either we are taking it to the pigs and charge it with their solar panel, or when it's totally drained, we go up to the village with this and charge it with a charger. So that's a lot of work to get these videos made with all these things. So we really need some better system to at least have as much power as we need to make these videos. That would be nice. And I really hope the solar panels that we got from Tova's relatives will work for that. This is a AGM battery, so it's supposed to be better at handling draining and charging and draining and charging better, but it's a couple of years old, and we have now started to notice that it doesn't keep charging. It doesn't charge for as long as it used to be. So this is our electric situation on our off-grid home. It certainly needs improvement, but we have managed to do it like this for some years now, and it's mostly about money, I guess. We haven't had the money to invest in a sufficient system.
This is where we fetch all of our water, our drinking water, the water for the animals, our water for the dishes, and so on. In northern Scandinavia, we can drink from almost every stream as it is, without having to cook it, and the more north you go, the more clean the water is. So you can drink from all the sweetwater lakes and streams. This stream is pretty shallow, but just here, after where we take our water, there's a deeper hole. So this is where we take our baths or clean ourselves in the summertime. It's a really nice spot. This is the system we've been using for washing some of Ivar's cloth diapers or nappies. It's just one whole bucket, and then it's a bucket with holes in it. And then it's a thing you use for the toilet. So you have the nappies in here with some warm water and washing soap. And then you work with this to wash it. And then you can just remove this and the water seeps out of the holes. And then you can go and rinse them in the stream. So it has been a good way to wash the nappies. We could use this to wash all kind of clothes, but
mostly we use this machine for washing our clothes. This machine is up in the closest village to our place, and this is also a place where we can shower. There is two things that is complicated with living a sort of a modern lifestyle in an off-grid place. One is washing clothes, and the other one is a freezer. So at this same place we also have a freezer where we can store our meat. Here is pancreas, some rooster stomachs, a heart, and so on. So our life here is very much an ongoing project. And we are very thankful to have access to the washing machine and to a shower connected to the grid, while we are thinking about how to be able to do all of those essential things at our place. So we are going to build a sauna, and that solves all the washing needs all year round. The only thing you would need is a sauna and somewhere to heat some water and heat up a space where you can splash around with that water to be able to clean yourself. But these things also lead to one comment that we every now and then get, and that is, you aren't off the grid, or how can you say that you are off the grid when you do this and that? And also often, how can you say that you are off the grid when you are making these videos? And I don't really know what to say to that, except that the place that we live on is not connected to any grid. Not the internet, no plumbing, no electrical grid, not any grid. So as it is now, with how we live now, we still rely on the grid somewhere else. But as I said, this is an ongoing project, and one of our goals is to be able to provide for all our basic needs off the grid here. But since we have access to a washing machine and a place to charge our batteries that we mostly need for making these vlogs, we are not in a hurry. So these things can take time, and we can feel what we need and want to do, and also maybe someday save up to be able to have a better better situation with the electricity, since we are making these videos. If we wouldn't be making these videos, I don't know if we even would need any electricity. And while we are on this topic, I can also tell you about our internet situation, and that is only cellular data. The cellular data would be here even though we wouldn't have any gadgets connected to it. So I don't know if I could say that that is something that is on the grid or not. I guess those people who say that we are not off the grid here they have a clear view on what off the grid really is, and I don't know what that is because I have not gotten an answer from any of them. So I have a lot of crazy ideas on how to someday build maybe some kind of water powered washing machine or something with the stream, use the power from the stream to do this, and also a lot of other stream powered stuff, but I don't know when time for that will show itself, or when I will make time for trying to build something like that. So if any of you know any really good off-grid solutions to washing clothes, it would be nice to know. There is some inventions already out there, but nothing that really have been looking that great. The freezer situation, though, is a very interesting problem. I guess one solution is to always butcher only what you eat. But then you need to have an infrastructure to keep that much animals and have winter feed for many more animals, and it's a problem we need to ponder more on, and hopefully we will find a solution. And it's not that I say that we need to be without a freezer, but I really am interested in how to solve all these problems so that we can be without a freezer if we want to. Another question we get is about a village that we often talk about in our videos.
And we live about 2 kilometers from the nearest village, and that's also the village where I grew up.
And it's a village of about 40 people. So there is no stores, no apothecary, no liquor store.
No, it's only private homes. So
yeah. There is a farmer with milk cows, so we are lucky to have him and his family here.
And my family, and also a family with a couple that is almost our age. So That's nice.
And they also have some sheep and pigs and small scale farmers.
Yeah.
So we are 3 farmers in this village.
I guess that's unusual.
Very unusual, I would say. Sadly, raising your own animals and producing your own food is something that is very scarce still.
Our animals are mostly heritage breeds from Sweden. So the pigs are called Linderösvin. The chickens are...
Bjurholmshöna.
And the sheep are Hälsingefår. And until recently we had rabbits that was Gotlandskanin.
We decided to take a break with the rabbits now.
Yeah.
For a while.
It feels good. So the male rabbit went to another family.
And the other 2 is in the freezer.
Yeah. Our dog Malva is a Siberian Husky, a sled dog, and Mysak.
He's a Karelian bear hound mixed with Finnish laphound. Those 2 at least. I have no idea. There could be something else there as well.
Yeah. Our sheep is Edelweiss and Stig, Greta, Selma, Elsa and Signe. The chickens, well, there's so many now, so in the beginning we had name on them. When we had like 6 of them.
Now it's Agda 1, Agda 2, Agda 3.
I think it's the head rooster and one of the hens are from the original group. And that's Kuku and Borka.
Yeah.
The pigs' names are Emil and Albin.
And that's not our
choice. They was named when they arrived, so they got to keep their names. And our names are Tova, Mathias and Ivar.
We often get the question of what kind of predators there are here as well. So the usual kinds in the northern part of the world, I guess. Wolves, bears,
lynx, wolverine, fox, predator birds also.
Hawks and eagles. And
yeah.
So most of them are here.
Yeah, but I think we don't have much wolf here, but we have a lot of bears, but we haven't seen any. Only tracks and poop, and people had seen them walking this way, but we haven't seen them. So far, none of our animals
have been taken.
No.
Some chickens have been taken by the hawk.
Hawk, yeah. So
goose hawk.
Goose hawk. I think so. So that's the only accidents we have had so far.
The fox we are seeing in the winter very much, but
he's out here barking, but he hasn't
waking us up.
Yeah, he hasn't taken anything yet. What we know of.
There is a political reason for why there are not much wolf here, since this place is part of Sápmi, the country of the Sami people. So they have their reindeer herds here, and yeah, there is not much wolves because of that. This is a very infected question here around. Is there room for wolves or not? And before we got animals, I had one way of thinking on this topic, and now when we have animals, there is another way of, or there is another way in my mind about this. But still, it's complicated, and me personally, I feel it's very hard to blame a predatory animal being a predatory animal. There should be place for everyone in this ecology. There is.
We need everyone in this ecology for it to work.
But I see where the problem is, and there is no good solution where everyone is happy. So I have no idea what my final thoughts about this is. We made a video where we presented our homestead and showed you all our projects last summer, and somehow the YouTube algorithm picked that video up and over 1 million people have clicked on it. And on that video we got a lot of questions on why the dogs are living in a pen during the day. Somehow many people seem to think that they are living here all the time and that we are not doing anything with them ever. They are just spending their time here. I have no idea how they got that idea, but it made me want to address this in this video, even though I guess most of those people asking that question will never see this video. This is a safe place for them to be when we are working with other stuff. And at the time we made that video, both of us had day jobs, so we had to have somewhere to have them. And this is also how dogs in the northern part of Sweden live. There is a lot of rules and regulations on how you can have your dogs loose or not loose, and during certain times of the year, like now, it is hunting time. So if you're not hunting with your dogs, you can't have them loose, because there are lots of hunting dogs in the forest right now. And when the moose are mating, you can't have any dogs free. And in the spring times, when birds starts to hatch, you can't have them loose. And these are hunting dogs. This is a Siberian Husky. It's not just some Labradoodle or I don't know, whatever kind of family dog that doesn't go more than 2 meters from one. If she gets a scent from the reindeers or something, it could lead to us never seeing her again. And yes, of course, we could train them to be really obedient, and that is a question on how you want your dogs and what kind of time you have. So for us now, we have a good relationship to our dogs, and they can be loose when we have the time. When we have time to focus on them and be with them when the situation is suitable for it. And oftentimes they can be on the yard here when we have the yard fenced in, because we want to keep the sheep on the outside. But the fence is not, these dogs can ignore the fence. But other than that, we are walking with them in the forest and bicycling with. Aha, okej. Skiter du eller? Vad är frågan? We are bicycling with Malva and so on. So they are with us. And they often sleep under the bed. But they can also sleep here. That's not a problem for them. I also got a problem with the notion that people from the city that has their dogs in their small apartment is complaining about this really nice place for them to live. It's much smaller inside in our cabin. So here they can jump and play around on another scale than inside our little cabin. So I don't know. Perspectives are different, I guess. I would say having a dog in a city is sort of questionable, but this kind of dog keeping is an entirely different. These are working dogs. They have a purpose in our life, not just an accessory.
This is our outdoor toilet. There's a big bucket underneath that collects the poop, and the urine is separated and goes out on the outside. It works really well, but it isn't that fun maybe in the middle of the night when it's -30 degrees Celsius. We often collect the urine for fertilizer in our garden. In Swedish, this is called utedass, or just dass. And it's situated like this because behind this there's a hole in the wall, and they threw out the shit from the cows there, so they collected all shit in one place behind here. So this is our utedass. since we don't have any ordinary bathroom. This here is our sink, so we fetch water from the stream and wash our hands here. In the winter time we take this inside and have a table that we put it on, so we can wash our hands inside instead.
The closest food store we have is 16 kilometers away, and those are really small food stores. One that is a little bit bigger is about 40 kilometers away, and then we have even larger than those 100 kilometers away. So about once a month or once every 2 months we go to the city, to the bigger food stores, because we also need to buy some food for the chickens and dog food and other errands. Then we buy the groceries we need for a while and hope that it will last. For now we have these small cellars. We have 2 of them here. We started with that one and needed a bigger one, so we built this one as well. And these are just 2 holes in the ground. That keeps about 8 degrees Celsius. And during the summer, spring and fall these work very good. But they don't work that good in the winter. It becomes freezing temperature in them. This far into fall it starts to become colder outside, so we can use this space in the farstu as a fridge. And in the winter time, when it's minus degrees outside, we can use this as a freezer. When it starts to become colder outside, we can use this as a fridge, since we only heat this cabin with the stove behind. The temperature fluctuates very much, and we don't use the stove in the night, so it never gets that hot inside these cupboards. So when we have a thermometer here, it usually keeps around 8 to 10 degrees. So we can use this as a fridge in wintertime. It's not the best solution, and we're hoping for our cellar to get ready soon. Eventually this cellar is going to be ready someday. And then we can use this the year round as a fridge. If we manage to build it correctly, it would keep the same temperature sort of, even though it's a lot of minus degrees or plus degrees outside. The only problem is that if we are going to start making lots of cheese, this cellar probably will be too small.
Another question we often get is how much property we have. This is my family's land, so it's a bit complicated how much it is. But also the animals or the sheep are roaming free on a lot of other properties and eating their grass. And that is possible because of something that is called mulbetesrätt that exists in this area. And that is something old that came from this fäbodar, that if you have a fäbod, you have the right to have your animals loose on the forest. Then we also use my grandmother's land or my aunt's land for collecting the hay for the winter feed. And we also move around the rams on other lands because the owners want their lands to be grazed. So we have access to a lot of different properties and lands, so it's hard to say how much we use. We are so very grateful that we can live like this without taking any big loans and be indebted for life. In many parts of the world, it's also possible to have animals without owning any property. Many landowners have land, but maybe they don't have the time to have their own animals, so they would be happy to have your animals on their lands. So you don't necessarily need to own land to have animals. So in our beloved outdoor kitchen, we also wash our dishes summertime, and when it's warmer outside. We warm the water on the stove and have our dishes here. So here are our collected dishes for a couple of days. Do the dishes and put them to dry here. Winter time we use buckets and bigger balja how do you call?
Bigger bucket.
A bigger bucket to do our dishes, and we just stand it on top of the dinner table and dry the dishes in that stand, but inside. So it's a bit messier during winter. It's very nice to be able to do the dishes out here every spring. So, but it works really good. It's going to be really nice when we get the new cabin ready. Then we are going to have a bench like this inside the cabin, so it will be a lot easier to do the dishes in the winter. Many of you ask how we met, and me and Mathias met on a folkhögskola. It's a Swedish folk high school. I'm not sure they exist anywhere else.
It's
in Norway and Finland at least.
It's usually a 1-year course of something particular. It's varying degrees of seriousness in the education. I don't really know how to explain this.
Oh.
But, so in those folkhögskola schools, usually there is some handicrafts or some course preparing for some other university studies or something like that. So there are. So, for example, I've been attending a photography folkhögskola a long time ago, and I also been a year learning how to build with timber, and then we met at a folkhögskola where we were studying practical archaeology. So all skills that is required or that people used before the industrialization, non-industrial skills like.
So that's where we learned the skin tanning and blacksmithing, some wood crafting,
And,
preserving food and so on. And we went to the same course.
So that's where we met.
2011. Another question is, where did we learn everything? So you said a little folk high school, but mostly we do it by ourselves. We read a lot. Mathias watch a lot of YouTube. We have been attending the artisan cheese making and artisan charcuterie. So a lot of courses, but also a lot of
trial and error.
Trial and error. Mostly that, I think.
So the courses are, I guess, just to get some kind of spark or kick in the butt. And then mostly it is you have to, if you're interested in something, you will eventually learn and you spend time. And if you're interested in something, you find time to
learn it.
Yeah.
So we didn't grow up as farmers or with farmers' families or anything like that.
No.
We did a little hay gathering when I was young, but that was just to gather some hay for the roe deers and the dogs. So.
For the dogs to sleep on.
Yeah, dogs to sleep on. The roe deers to eat in the winter.
Yeah, I guess for you it has been a little bit more close by. For me it's totally new, everything with animal agriculture. So to conclude this, we don't really know that much, but we are trying and
know a little about a lot.
One common question is, what kind of birds do we have here? And we are very amateur bird watchers, so we try to figure out what the birds we are seeing are, and I'm trying to learn the bird songs and to recognize different species and learn the names of them. We're going to make a written article with this question as well, so we can go more in depth there on what we have recognized.
Yeah.
We have also gotten questions about hunting and whether we are hunting or not. and I really want to, but there is a
course you have to take that is quite expensive. I did the theory classes when I was younger, but I have forgotten all about it. And you also need to do the shooting classes, and it's quite expensive to do it. And it's also expensive to be in part of a hunting team here.
Yeah, that's our problem. We buy meat for less money than it would cost for us to be part of the hunting team. But now you can attend to this class online, only online, so that is something that is on my to-do list. And also now when bow hunting will probably become legal in Sweden, I'm really looking forward to hunting with bows the way our ancestors did. One interesting thing with bow hunting is that you become more resilient. You don't have to rely on the weapons industry to provide weapons and ammunition for you to source your own food.
You can also take the license and then hunt small animals like roe deers and not be part of any hunting team. So that's also a possibility.
Yes. So someday, hopefully, we'll see hunting on this channel as well. One common question we get is, when will the house be ready?
The bigger cabin.
I don't know what the answer is on that. Simple as that.
It's going to take the time it will take.
Yeah. The difference between our project here is that we do everything by ourselves and with the help of our families every now and then. We don't hire any professional builders for any of the steps. No.
That have the
tools and working discipline.
Yeah, and they are paid to do a job, so they do it and can concentrate on it for hours at an end. And we can't, Ivar. No.
No, all these projects and also learning about and growing our own food takes a lot of time for us. So it will be ready when it's ready. And believe us, we really want it to be ready faster. But
it's like we're saying, there's a lot of other projects that come in between that have to be ready for one cause or another. And now it's the butchering that we have to do, then we have to stop with everything else. And when we want to do something, you have to do something else because you have to. So it's like, how to say, you start in one end.
It's a never-ending cycle of unfinished things.
Yeah. But it's like,
But this is not a complaint.
No.
This is just
how it is.
This is just how it is. We have come to terms that you shouldn't focus so much on the goals. If you're not enjoying the way to the goals,
the journey,
then there is no meaning in all of this.
No. So we try to enjoy the moment and the journey, and hopefully the house will
someday
be ready someday soon. But people ask us if we sell anything, and so far we don't. Our goal is to do some handicrafts with wood and maybe my tanned sheepskins. So sometime in the future we will set up some kind of web shop, but probably, yeah, that's the goal. But we can't promise when.
And a far away goal is also the cheese making.
Yeah. So we'll see, but hopefully we can do it.
Yeah. So as of now, we don't sell anything yet.
But we will. But we want to.
So then comes to the question: how do we earn money? So in the beginning of this journey with making these videos, both of us was working a day job and then we came home from that and continued working on every project that we have here.
So working like 200% every day?
More or less, and then filming everything or most of it and making these videos. So that was a hard time, I would say. And for now we are so lucky that the income that we get from all our wonderful patrons makes it possible for me to be at home, and for us now, since Ivar is here. We hope this will grow so that Tova doesn't have to go back to any regular day job, that she also can focus on all these videos and all the work that is this life that we have.
Yeah. I'm home now with maternity leave. You get something small from the government when you have a child for the first year or so.
So the only thing that we do now to earn money is make these videos for you. And that is like a dream come true. We really feel grateful for this.
Yeah.
So far it is a very small income, but we sort of manage. So, thank you so much for all the patrons that makes these videos possible.
Thank you. Ja, tack sa Ivar. We get a lot of requests if people can come and visit us. And our answer must be probably not.
Yeah, this is sort of a hard question, because of course we would want everyone that are interested in this kind of way of living and so on, learn about these things, and that is what we hope these videos will do. They will learn and get inspired and grow in their thoughts about these things through these videos. One of the reasons that we are living here in this remote rural area is to have the solitude and the vast forests and wilderness and not so much people. So
maybe in the future we will have the possibility to welcome visitors.
In a controlled way, or how to say.
But as it is now, we live here in our 15 square meter cabin and we have no other possibility
for accommodations.
No. So this is the only house to live in. We really don't hope that you feel that we are grumpy or...
It's a hard topic to talk about.
Yeah. But we are very happy that so many show interest in our way of life. Gå till pappan säg. Han håller dig lite.
What does Talasbuan mean? Talasbuan is pronounced...
Talasbuan. It's hur säger man, dialectal speech, Talasbuan, and it sort of mean, in Swedish it would say tallåsbodarna, sort of, and in English it would be Pine Ridge Summer Homestead. Ish. So it's hard to translate, but something like that.
So the name comes from this area. There is Talasmyren, like Pine Ridge Mire, and Talasbacken.
Pine Ridge Hill.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure this place have been named like that before, but we decided it was
to use that name because of
the connection with the other names. So it's a good name. The last question we're going to answer here is, why do we live this way? And that's a really hard question. For me, like I have said some time before, I have always been interested in these fäbodar and wanted to live on one summertime with my animals and make butter and cheese. I have been on internships on different fäbodar to learn, and I have always felt that it is a really free and inspiring way to live, and even though it's really hard work. So when we moved here, it felt right after a while to live here year round, and it feels like it's a beautiful life.
For me, it has been a long journey in search of true sustainability, or how to say. In my life, I've been thinking a lot about how to live in a way that is nurturing the land and the surrounding you live in instead of depleting it. And all these questions have led me through different paths and blind alleys. It's not to say that this is the ultimate solution for everything, but when you think about these things, inevitably you end up thinking about where your food comes from and how it's produced and what it does to your health, and also your connection to the nature, and your surroundings. And so I ended up here.
But it's like you said, it's so nice to be so close to the nature that you can see the season shifts and hear all the sounds, and they're not drowned out by the modern society's new sounds.
But this also clashes with my interest in making videos like these, and also some of my earlier interests like snowboarding and skateboarding. So these are hard questions. We are making our day-to-day life a little bit harder than we necessarily would have to, I guess. But it's also some kind of challenge, and it's also a way for us to continue the traditions here, and that is important for us with the
Fäbod.
yeah, with the old skills and knowledges. Vad säger du?
Va?
But also the resiliency part. We really want to build this life so that every aspect of our daily needs we could potentially fulfill without having to rely on any modern industries. And so that's something I'm striving for.
Yeah. But so far it's nice to have a leg in both worlds. To make these videos, to live here, to develop our interests, and yeah, so. Eller hur, Ivar? We have a lot of more questions, but we are going to put that down in the text that we're going to publish on our webpage. So if you feel that you haven't gotten your question answered, maybe it's in there.
So questions like what camera equipment do you use,
and what do you use your wool for, and
what is the music in our videos?
Yeah, and what is a fäbod if you don't know that. So you can go in there and read some, and if you think we have missed something important that you want to have answer to, you can send us an email and we will write it down there in the text.
Thank you for watching.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Det var det.
Hej vad det.
Var det tråkigt att jobba eller vad är frågan om?
Ja, du är så otålig. Vad går du idag?
Klappa henne.
Va? Jag är bara busig. Ska jag klippa dina naglar?
blir så geckig när vi håller på.
Ska vi klippa dina naglar?
Ska vi prata med dig och inte med kameran? Det är väl det som är frågan.
Ja, såklart.
Hur går det med din tand?
Den här kommer upp nu. Ja, den kommer upp nu.
Var är de andra då? Har inte några kompisar?
Kan du ge mig hans sax? Ska vi se om jag lyckas klippa någonting eller om han är för